everyone, welcome back to Learning Bridge, and I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. I'm back again with my new video. This video is going to about data engineering, so watch this video till the end if you guys are new to data domain. For this session we have a special guest, Mr. 𝗏𝙤𝙘𝙞𝙖. He is working as a data engineer in Facebook London. So in this session he will talk about his journey from startup till Facebook, how to get shortlisted for the interview process, different fundamental and required skill sets for data engineering,
control,
and some real world use cases of data engineering. So watch this video till then, and यार channel को subscribe कर दो because
बुरा लगता है भाई, आप लोग भी जानते हो यार.
so without wasting time, let's jump on to the session.
Welcome Archit, and thanks for taking the time for this session. First, I think let's start with a very basic question. Tell us something about your journey after graduating till Facebook, and what is the most prominent thing you have experienced in Facebook till now?
Cool. So just a brief intro. As of now, I'm working with Facebook as a data engineer, and I graduated from IP University, New Delhi, and then worked in a startup in Gurgaon, and then moved on to Paytm in Noida, and then finally up here in Facebook. So all of my job profiles were of a data engineer. I started as a data engineer. I really like the field. And yep, it's going good so far for me. And for Facebook, it's been a nice company and nice experience overall. So mostly the most best thing I like is really the culture over here. It's really open, and as an IC, we get much freedom to choose like what things we will be working on, how to prioritize different things, and basically like we have a say in different projects going on and which we are part of, instead of like the traditional hierarchical model of a corporate world. So yep.
Cool. Sounds like a very exciting journey, Archit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So most of the time people don't know like how to apply in tech giants like Google, Amazon, Facebook, right? So what would you suggest to our watchers, like how should they prepare their resume and what key points they should add so that they could get shortlisted for the interview process?
Yep. So for the interviews, mostly, or the resumes, the major part is like it should be much to the point. So what I mean to say is it should include the relevant keywords or the technologies which you have worked on. It should not be like much elaborated sense like you are taking up a single project and explaining it like in multiple paragraphs. It should be like concise and to the point, so that whosoever is paying the attention, you mostly in resume selection you get less than, I think so, 30 seconds to make an impression on the reviewer. So the major part is like hitting the kind of mentioning the important technologies first, and then mentioning the projects first, and just give a one-liner to explain like what exactly it was. So yeah, that's one of the key points. And regarding the applications, as of now, in my opinion, it's there are various methods one can apply. The most effective method, which everyone tells, is basically getting a referral from someone. So because that's a direct entry, skipping much of the overhead at the start. And apart from that, currently I'll say LinkedIn is really good platform for applying or for contacting different people from the within the organization. So if you see an opening in a website or anywhere on a portal, and if you have any connection with a member of or an HR of the same company, you can just try to ping him or her and have a casual chat like whether that opportunity is available or not, or if they can have you considered for that. So yep.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, this is a really important point to know because most of the time what people does it, they create a like 4 or 5 pages of resume, elaborate each and everything, which I personally think shouldn't do that, because obviously that will minimize your chances to get shortlisted.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. For the data engineering interviews, what do you think? What what are the key topics, what are the key points a person should prepare for?
For a data engineer, like for this, I'll first quickly touch base on like what exactly a data engineer does. So mostly data engineer, kind of by the name, it mostly works with data. And like for software engineers, their main output product is software. For us, it's mostly the data. The the product which gets to the downstream and gets kind of fitted in different subsystems is basically the data we generate, either through streams, to tables, or whatever. So this is a really varied field. Like it has different meanings and it's a very overloaded term. So different organizations can have different specific roles under the title data engineer. So it's like it really depends what your interview process will be according to like what the job description and what exactly the need of that particular organization is. But the baseline comes down to mostly one of the major things is SQL. You should be really good at SQL and trying to understand like how actually you work with batch data. So like and another thing is basically data warehousing modeling. So as some of you might know, like the database modeling for a transactional database is really different as compared to a data warehouse. So for analytic purposes, so that's a really key point which one should know, like how to exactly design the things. Other than that, then those are the basic foundation layer. And then you come up and on top of them, then you should be knowing about the relevant frameworks or kind of technologies going on in the field. So one of them is like different databases one should work with. Like you can have at the start like different relational databases. Then currently it's really good to know all the MapReduce frameworks, or basically Hive you work with, or Spark for the data as a data processing framework. After that, you should be also knowing about a bit about kind of different databases, like key value databases, like you have multiple
Columnar databases.
columnar databases. So you have HBase, Redshift, etc. So
Cassandra, yeah.
Yep, those are really good to know about. But one of the things is like these in some of the big companies, the exact technology sometimes don't matter. Like sometimes it always matter because they are looking for an expert in that particular field. But if you're just starting or in a mid-level and you are kind of searching out different options, so it can be a bit generic. So if you have just worked for a like with a key value system, just mention that. Don't kind of try to say or just trying to bluff like you have already worked on a system which they are asking for, which you haven't, because that will create the gap and you will just, the interviewer will feel that you're making something up and it will be a bad impression. So just be true. It's fine. You can always learn things. So yep, those are the major things. Other than that, I think on the programming aspect, as far as my experience was concerned, my interviews never sticked on kind of a single programming language they were looking for. So it was like majorly open for me, like whatever programming language I want to choose. So obviously some of the data structure questions would be there to test your logical ability. Regarding like either you can think of a solution, can you use the different data structures just inside the program itself, and then in some cases you will be working with the data frames of Spark or Python just to understand like the interviewer, if interviewer want to get a glimpse of like whether you are able to process that particular information in programming language or you just can only use SQL for doing that. So some of those things, and then comes down at the last part mostly about the details of a framework you have already worked with. So if you have worked with, let's say, Spark, so you should be knowing about like how internally it works, what are the different meanings of different terminologies in that, and how exactly they gear up to provide you a single interface to write a program, and then how basically behind the scenes your data is getting processed. like it is getting distributed in different machines. It is getting like mapping onto different machines and then reducing up to giving you the final result. So yeah.
These are the some really key factors, or you can say key tech stacks data engineer should know.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. This question is basically, even I have asked this question to like few candidates as well in the interview processes as well. So what do you think, what kind of generic use cases are in the market that a data engineer should know about?
So basically, different use cases or things, it is kind of types of data you have worked in. One of the thing is like if you have worked with only the relational databases at the start, or you have also worked with NoSQL databases, because the data processing can be really different between the two. So whether whatever function you worked with, what was your input? It was just a relational database. What type of databases you use, NoSQL, or you used completely unstructured database and trying kind of worked on that and kind of modeled it for the downstreams. Another thing can be related to the speed or basically like freshness rate of the input data. That can be like whether you have worked only for batch systems or whether you have worked for a real-time system. And a thing in between is basically kind of if you have worked on kind of, you can say, a batch, but kind of interfacing a real-time system. So let's say if you had some or the other thing, like at the topest layer, there is a generator, API generator, which is generating data in real time, then you have to kind of store it or buffer it in some place and then basically process it in a batch manner instead of a real-time pipeline. So this can be another case, but so this lies in between the two, but covers both of the different aspects, because you will be kind of ingesting from a near real-time or real-time source. So yeah, those are the major use cases. Other than that, in some of the things, some interviewers may discuss about the product specific use cases, like according to business, because one definition of data engineer can be like interfacing with the business in a good manner and trying to understand all the business processes and then try to kind of convert those business definitions into your modeling. So like it might be the case they discuss about what is the business, or what was the key business problem you solved, and how exactly you translated those particular requirements into the technical background.
Okay, so sounds like different business use cases and it's their implementation, like completely depends upon the business requirement you are working upon.
Yep.
Okay, Chit. So let's move on to our next important question. So obviously, we know like how this cloud is basically overtaking the market, right? So, and most of the enterprises are basically moving their systems from the on-premises system to the cloud system, right? So what do you think? How important for a data engineer to know about these cloud services?
First of all, it depends. If you are aiming towards like just kind of working on the interfacing part from the production systems and kind of going into the domain of like a bit of data engineer profile, which is where it touches the infra side. So then it's really important for you to know like different, maybe let's say AWS services, how EMR works, or how basically you manage all the metadata in that, or how do you launch basically different clusters, how do you manage them. So it's really important, but it totally depends on what kind of data engineering profile you are looking at. If you are working on just at the downstream layer where you work with the data and model it out in the systems, then it won't be really necessary to know all the details about the cloud services, but it will be necessary to at least understand how systems work at the backend and like what is the basic structure of different servers behind the scenes, because if you get any system error or any any server error, you should be able to kind of debug it down to at least to your code or the framework or the underlying cloud services technology. So yeah, it is a bit important for the modeling persons, but it is really important for all the kind of top layer interfacing profiles.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, it is important to know the entire system, like how each and every component are connected with each other, right? And important for debugging as well, as you said.
Yep.
So my next question to you is, what do you think? How hard is it for any person which is basically working on different roles to move into the data engineering? How difficult or how easy it is?
To this question, it would seem very generic, but seriously, I have personally felt this, that one should be really interested in this particular field, because after some time, like in a backend engineer, it can be like the case where you change your complete profile, because different companies have different software engineering roles. Like you might be a backend engineer, front end engineer, a web designer, or different things. Uh, Over here in data engineering, I feel like because down the line we are actually working with data, and it almost comes down to your interest. If you actually are interested in processing or working with big amount of data, and you really enjoy that, you can debug all those things. You don't get bored about like looking at thousands of records processing, and kind of, because in some of the typical cases you even might need to go into the details of the data and trying to see like where exactly the problem happened. So in some cases I have seen it can be a cumbersome thing to do, because most of the like, so I have seen a couple of cases where software engineer profiles were doing the data engineering work, and they were really kind of frustrated about this particular thing, because in data engineering profile there can be some of the systems which where actually you are not able to write the exact test cases, because it depends on the input data, and if input data is malformed, every system will break, and then you have to just everything is on fire, and you have to debug all those things, which comes down to just the nuances of different data, or someone on the upper system creating some bug and then disturbing your whole system, and then you might have to rerun different things, different pipelines, because all the data has been processed and it already has corrupted some of the things within your pipeline. So all those things one should take into mind. But if you are interested, and I'll say just try it out if you can. Try to see like if you are in already in an organization where DE role is there, try to sit with them, try to understand what they do in a day-to-day work, maybe schedule a weekly meet with them to understand what down the line they are doing, just pair program with them, and then just see if you feel it is like it can be a good thing you can approach with.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it's more about the interest. If you are interested for this profile and want to just get your hands dirty in this big data field, then you are most welcome for this data engineering profile.
Yeah. Honestly.
Okay, Archit, so let's move on to the final questions. How do you basically feel motivated for your job profile and the kind of work you are doing? And what would you like to suggest to our watchers that how they can basically keep their self motivated to achieve their life goals?
Yep. That is an interesting question. But the things which actually keeps me motivated is like I really enjoy working on the data side of the things. Like as a data engineer, I really enjoy my profile. I know that I already know what a software engineer does, what a data engineer does. And honestly, I can say I really enjoy my work because it lies like in between of all the things. And like it's a really good thing to work on different technologies and different systems interacting with different businesses to understand. So it is like one of the key things I've been working on is understanding the business and trying to kind of find out the gaps and filling it with the all the relevant information we have, or basically creating a system which can help that particular business requirement. So that thing is really interesting, and that is kind of experience I'm getting as of now. So that is one of the key motivator factors. And the interest part, like it should be like you should be really curious to know about different things going on in the market, trying to like, for me personally, I was every time I'm working, I am kind of curious about how things work. I go deep into the things, try to see like how different systems are working and how different systems are in place, and trying to like understand what is the business idea behind that, what is the tech idea behind that, why do we use this. So I have always multiple questions, and yeah, sometimes I get answers to all of them, sometimes yeah, not. But that, I think that is the one of the key points, like my curiosity to help me like get motivated, and every time go to my job and trying to work like now I'll be answering these particular questions and trying to say like, okay, I have achieved this particular thing. And also like it is really good to self rate yourself, like trying to see what different things you have achieved, whether you wanted to achieve them, or do you even say that it is your achievement. So those kind of things. And another good aspect, I'll say, always keep a track of your learning aspect, whether you are learning new things or not. There can be some phases in your job where you actually doing something which is not directly related to learning some things, but try to find the good spots where either you can learn from the same systems you are working with, or you can spare some time and can learn some new things. So that can be a really good thing to achieve your goals and success. So yeah.
Okay, Chit. I mean, that's really good points to know. And at last, I would like to say thanks for this session, and thanks for sharing your whole experience and the key insights of the data engineering profile. And I think this is going to be really useful for the candidates who are looking for data engineering opportunities and are basically working in data engineering. So yeah, thanks, Archit. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Shashank. It was a really great session. I really enjoyed talking with you. Like this was a really good casual chat where I was sharing just my own thoughts, and I really felt good because I really feel passionate about data engineering, and I want people to work in data engineering field. So yeah, this is great.
That's it for today's session, guys. I hope you guys liked this session with Archit, and if you guys liked it, then please like and share the video, and don't forget to comment down your queries regarding data engineering so that I will cover it in my next video. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you can get the notification for my latest videos. And guys, if anybody is interested to deliver a tech talk, then please reach out to me. I would be really happy to feature you on my channel so that we could help the community together in learning and growing. Till then, stay safe, stay home.